Okay, we are live now. So you're welcome to Opinion Sharers. And my name is Paul. This evening we're going to be talking about Uncle Peter Obi. I love to call him Uncle Peter Obi because somehow I feel like I can relate to him more than other older generation politicians. So it's going to be about him today because, I mean, if you go to the internet now, I mean, to Twitter Nigeria now, you see that it's all about him and the newfound Labour Party. But before we come back to that discussion of Peter Obi and, Nigeria and, what's happening now, we are looking also maybe among my guests this night, maybe any one of them is a delegate. Uh, we need to share from the whatever is happening there. Anyway, so let's quickly grab a mobile phone and or maybe laptop or whatever. Let's share. Let's go share the link. So please let's share the link. If you're joining us, please share the link and so that we can invite other people to join the conversation. It's very important that we invite other people. Don't be selfish, please. Help us in sharing it. Share, share, share. It doesn't cost money to share. So please do share. So I'm trying to share it now. I'm going to share in some groups. If you're just joining us, we are taking a few minutes to share the link. So please help us share the link. Help us invite people who might be interested in the conversation. So please share, 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 share. Okay. I have shared to some groups and share on my profile. Now, the the hot market now, the hot topic now that everybody's talking about, as far as politics is concerned in Nigeria and among Nigerians, whether at home or abroad, is the issue of Uncle Peter Obi, who has just, suddenly dropped out of his beloved party, PDP. And people have been talking about PDP, 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 and then suddenly he dropped out. So I'm going to be asking my guests tonight whether they're surprised. That's the first question I'm going to be asking. But anyway, before we do that, let's introduce ourselves just in case we might be having some new viewers tonight. So I'll start with you, Citizen Oluwatosin.
Hi, friends. I'm Citizen Oluwatosi. I'm a public affairs commentator and a citizen of Nigeria.
Okay, Timmy.
Good afternoon from here, everyone. My name is Timileyin Uguntuyaki. I'm also a Nigerian. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Michael, are you there? Okay, I think Michael is attending to the stomach infrastructure. So I guess that's why his screen is covered, but he'll be back here. Somebody is already in the comment section. Cruz is already dropping messages saying Peter Obi. Sorry, not Peter Obi. Many PDP presidential aspirants will decamp to join Peter Obi after today's primaries to give him their support. It is Peter Obi, Peter Obedient. I don't. Oh, Peter Obedient and the Nigerians call. Okay, now we shall see. All right, Michael. I thought you were doing some underground business there. Maybe you are having
Yeah,
meeting.
you are absolutely not wrong, sir.
Listen,
Yeah, so
introduce yourself.
good evening, our viewers. I'm Michael Olaogun by name. I'm glad to be here, and of course, it's interesting time in Nigeria. So please stay tuned and enjoy the conversation, and please do help us share. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. So like I said earlier, it's going to be about Peter Obi, Peter Obi, Peter Obi this evening. And I think it is worthy for us to talk about it because we've been on this platform, we've been talking about the need for fresh blood. We believe that Nigeria is in a difficult position right now. And we were actually, some of us were rooting for candidates, other candidates, I mean, many candidates, which includes Peter Obi, because he's a relatively new face as far as we are concerned, relatively younger, can understand our language, can understand the generation that we are in today, can understand how businesses should be handled, can understand how education around the world in the 21st century should function. So that's why people like me, want to see more Peter Obi. I want to see more of Professor Mogalu. I want to see more of Showore in the race. So, we've been supporting and saying such people should join. More of such people should join politics. So, but things are taking a new turn in the last few hours, and so that's why it's important for us to discuss it. So, I'm going to ask Tim Lane. First of all, were you expecting that Peter Obi would suddenly dump the almighty PDP?
Thank you for that question. Yes, I was expecting it. And even before this conversation today, I think I was actually explaining to a group of people what Peter Obi probably did with PDP. So I assume that the man is very wise and is using his intelligence really well. It is my assumption that Peter Obi used the structure of the PDP because he knew quite well that the PDP would not give in to any candidate that is not really ready to spend money. And Peter Obi, for whom he is, he would not spend such money on political aspirations. So I feel like Peter Obi used the platform of the PDP, to gain some kind of dominance in this presidential race. He gained some awareness and was able to put out a voice. And I actually anticipated it. So what I actually didn't know was I was going to be this sudden. What I expected was for him to go head on into the election, into the primary elections, and then maybe probably after another person has emerged who is able to spend money as emerged, maybe he will now leave and then form a third force or merge with other political parties. That was what my anticipation was, but I knew definitely that Obi was not going to contest as the flag bearer of the PDP. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, thank you, Timilane. Well, if I use your word or something new near to what you said, is that Peter will be cashed in. he cashed in on the PDP. Let's see if Tosin thinks if Tosin agrees. Tosin, do you agree that Uncle B, as I love to call him, do you think he cashed in on PDP?
Thank you very much, and good evening again to our friends watching. Peter Obi, he he really tried. He used PDP as a platform to gain. Well, Peter Obi is a popular face. He's a popular name before now, but being on the PDP and making his intention known on the platform of PDP, of course, comes with a lot of advantage. And backing out on the eve of their presidential election primaries also is a plus for him and making him look like Saint Obi, like the saint, like the good guy. So he played his game well. Politics is a game of number, they say. Politics also is tactical. Politics is not what you can just see with your plain eyes. No, politics is calculations. They are calculations, they are permutations, they are people having sleepless nights doing calculations. That is why I wonder most time when citizens don't take their own responsibility seriously, but politicians are meeting at the dead of the night, not sleeping. But they will say, go and collect your PVC. You say, your vote don't count. If your vote don't count, politicians will not be holding meetings in the dead of the night, depriving themselves sleep just to win an election. So Peter Obi is he make his calculations very well. He's gaining the momentum that is expected, and as we have it now, his name is on the lips of most Nigerians, and for somebody like me, I love that. I love that. I really want to see somebody new. I didn't want to see somebody as a third force and challenging APC and PDP. We have had enough of them in the last 20 years or 20 plus years in this present day administration and democracy. We have had enough of them. We have seen that PDP and APC, they are the same thing. And if we are talking about Peter Obi also, we must also let people know that Peter Obi is coming, has a little bit of Abga in him. So all his day, he has not been a PDP person. He has also been an Abga person, because some people don't like PDP. They think PDP, they rule Nigeria for 16 years and nothing to show for it. But APC is there now, and it's becoming worse. So Peter Obi really take advantage of the party is to gain popularity and now backed out. And I really wish him all the best. I want to see him succeed.
Okay, thank you, Tosin. Michael,
Yeah,
do you think
thank you so. Okay.
wait, do you think he would have had a better chance if he had stayed in PDP, especially in this primary that they are conducting maybe tomorrow morning? Do you think PDP has any chance?
The answer is a practical no. And no, in the sense that Peter Obi has always been a person who is always insistent in nature. Permit me to use a language. He knows what they want, and he stands by whatever he believes, contrary to comparing him to other politicians we have. And let us also look at it from this angle. Peter Obi is someone that has a history, that has record in the sense, in terms of a career progression. Is the only one that one can really say, okay, he is not you can trace him to history, like the way he has managed two banks, that he is, and he succeeded at doing that. He has businesses here and there. Compare him to other politicians who really we cannot say this is what would, this is what, where, or rather this person has worked, these are his track records, and so on and so forth. So in a nutshell, I would say convincingly that Peter Obi wouldn't have emerged a PDP presidential candidate, because the language that these so-called delegates, they really understand is money. And Peter Obi, being a businessman that he is, he won't spend that type of money, because he knows the implication of that on his business. And number two,
But
when we
I
look
learned they
at
say Atiku is also a businessman now.
supposedly, yeah. So we can say that supposedly, because before 1999, I am not sure. I don't really know who Atiku who was, because we had a one primary. He won the Adamawa state election then, and he was actually picked to deputize President Olusegun Obasanjo. But one thing is very unique about Peter Obi. Despite the problem that Atiku had in 2019, he insisted that he would rather prefer to work with Peter Obi, because the governors then, they were bent at not allowing Peter Obi to become the vice presidential candidate. And the same thing is repeating itself, because there are we have information out there that, the governors are actually against Peter Obi this time around, because there's also a plan on ground for him to become the running mate of Atiku Abubakar, should in case Peter Obi did not get the presidential ticket. And another thing is, he was actually smart enough, assuming there was no deadline issued by INEC, that okay, the deadline for the primary election of all political parties is 30th of May. I want to assume that Peter Obi would have participated in the election, but all of them don't want to fall into the snare of the law. That's why you see that he was smart enough to say, before I lose out entirely, let me quickly pull out of PDP and pitch my tent with another political party. And to me, he has made a smart move. And of course, just like it has been said, I don't know who said it. Maybe it's Dr. Timmy or Mr. Tosin, that he was smart. I don't know the right word, but in a nutshell, he was smart enough to have taken that bold step of leaving the party at the right time. And now people are really in love with that, because I learned the labor union, the trade union congress, the what do you call it now? Nigerian Labour Congress, they are also trying to build alliance with either NNPP, that's Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, and of course the Labour Party now presidential candidate, which is Peter Obi. And looking at the narrative, because I've been hearing moving around the streets, people are like, okay, Peter Obi, Peter Obi. But the question is, the digital presence is there. Of course, he has a strong digital footprint. But can we all translate this digital footprint when the real election is here? That is the only worry I have. But if Peter Obi should become a president of Nigeria, I have a strong belief that even if he cannot bail us out entirely from this quagmire, is going to make a serious change. Thank you.
All right.
Can I make a comment, please?
All right, go ahead.
Yes. So, Michael said, and I so much agree with that Peter Obi is a businessman, and also that Atiku is also a businessman. But before business and politics, who are these guys? That's a very fundamental question, and it will be helpful for this conversation. So we all know from the beginning, Peter Obi was a businessman, and he still is, but Atiku was in the customs. So we need to ask questions about how business came into being, in the lives of these two men. They are really not comparable in terms of how they make money or how they spend it. So if you see two people spending money, there is a question of how do these people make their money for them to be spending it this way. I would definitely be frugal with my spending if I made my money through hard work than someone that enriched themselves from political appointments or political positions that they have held in the past.
This table you are shaking, eh? Okay.
It is important to talk about it, right? It is very important we talk about it, because sometimes you see, that's why the government and the people in places of power, in positions of power, are trying to eradicate history in our school. It is important that people that are just growing up, someone like me that is just growing up, knows where we are coming from as a people. So by that reason, we will be able to understand why we are in this particular state we are now, and we should know the way forward. I love the fact that Village Boy in our last meeting, actually political meeting, I would say, conversation, he mentioned how Atiku made his money, and how how he ventured into business, into politics after he left the customs. So if people do not really understand these things, they will start thinking some people just get money from the air, or they are doing ritual money. Yesterday I was actually looking at the program you did with Oluwo Jogbodo, and it was talking about Nigerian money is being printed, having serial numbers. That's a very valid point. How then are people saying that money is coming from the spiritual world? So we should ask questions. We should know where we are coming from. So many people would actually they can easily be deceived by our politicians, because they have sweet mouth. They can talk, and they are very smart. For a thief to be To be an effective thief, they have to be very smart. So we cannot compare how Obi will spend the money to how Atiku will spend his money. They made money, from different from different endeavors. I would just keep it like that.
All right, thank you for the comments, Timley. Now, Tosin, I wanted to ask you this question. Now, look at APC and PDP, and look at the delegate system. Now, me, I'm looking for a friend who is a delegate. Can you imagine? I was watching a commentary earlier today, and somebody was saying that maybe about between 700 and 800 delegates. It's who, even former president Jonathan was actually angry. I think they invited him to another program to help launch a book, and then he made a whole statement about the delegate system and all, and was blaming the National Assembly, saying that I posted that video on the Opinion Sharers page if you want to check it out.
Wow.
So Tosin, when we are dependent on 800 or 700 people from different places, we can easily be bought by people like Atiku, and I mean no disrespect to him, or even like
Tinubu.
our own Tinubu, the guy with Bullion van, can invite all of them to one hotel in Abuja. And they invite one or two Bullion vans.
Or
And these
Wike.
people are starting. And so we, the
Corruption does
Nigerian
not have
people,
tribe.
200 million, we are now dependent. Our life is hanging and dependent in the hands of those people that we know could be easily bought. So I want to ask you, Tosin, and you and I, all of us on this platform agree that PDP is not different from APC. So what is our hope now? With this kind of delegates that money can buy.
Thank you very much for that. And for everyone that is watching now or be watching later today and tomorrow, I want to make a public announcement. On Monday is the last day of registration for PVC, permanent voters card. So let everybody please go get their voters card, please, for God's sake, for goodness sake, for prosperity's sake, for your own sake, for the sake of your kids, your brothers, sisters. Go get your PVC and plan to vote in the coming election. The question is not who we are going to vote for. It's an election process. It's a process. So the first process is get your PVC. And after getting it, then we will look for who to vote for. Because if you don't register by Monday, then the next registration will be after 2023 election. If you miss it now, that means you miss it for the next 4 to 8 years. So coming back to what you have said about delegates, we have agreed that PDP and APC are the same thing. That is why I make that announcement first. That is why Nigerians, the youth, the middle class, should go get their PVC. See, there's a conspiracy against the middle class Nigerians. There's a conspiracy against the youth of Nigeria. And nobody is going to save the youth. Nobody is going to save the middle class Nigeria. They themselves will be the one to save themselves. Now I tell you the conspiracy. The delegates now will come select the person they want to select because he paid them the highest bidder. They will select the person in APC and PDP because all of us, our focus is APC, PDP. Then when election comes, we are going to select from one of those guys, APC and PDP. And the people spending billions of naira now for a job that is not worth 1 billion in a year. They are spending billions of naira now. How will you not term that as a Ponzi scheme? So they will select those guys now. When those guys get to office, do you think they will work? They will not do anything. Now, the conspiracy against the middle class Nigerian and the youth is this. Politicians will come on election day to buy vote from the people that usually go out to vote. I don't want to mention him now. The last time I did, I was told it's derogatory words, but we cannot shy away from that fact. And this is my fact. This is my truth. I like to say it. The people that usually come out to vote are market men and women. The people usually come out to vote are artisans. The people come out to vote are mostly the people helping them to cut away with to dabaru vote are thugs. So the middle class and the youth that have left voting to these people, artisans, market men and women. Now, on the election day, market men and women will collect money from politicians to vote in corrupt politicians because of their ignorance. They don't know. It's not their fault. Because the middle class and the youth did not provide mentorship, enlightenment for the market men and women. They will vote in corrupt politicians. Now, when the corrupt politicians get to office, he begin to hike the price of things. He begin to implement policy that will not help the society. He begin to make policy that will make the economy bad for the people. Now, the conspiracy is this: when the price of things goes up, the market woman, I have a orange here. Now, this orange, 2015 in Nigeria, just assumely, not exact price, assume this orange is 15 naira. 2015 is 15 naira. Today they are buying it for 250 naira. This one orange. Now that market woman, immediately the price of transportation go up or the price of fuel go up, the market woman will increase the price of her item. If this is tomato, she will increase the price, and you have to buy as the middle class. You have to buy as the youth. You have to buy it. So the market men and women, they are not suffering because they hike the price of things as the government make the policy hostile for the people. The market men and women, they hike the price. So they are cashing out. The Okada people, if they are taking you from Owode to Sango for 50 naira, 2015, now they are taking you from Owode to Sango for 150 times 3. They are not losing. They are cashing out. But now let's talk about the middle class, the civil servants. Those ones that will say they are lack away, they will put stash on their shirt and have gator and put tie, doing shakara or nothing. Your salary still remain the same from 2015 till date. Same salary. The youth, you are finished work, you are finished school, you cannot get work for more than 4 years. Your status remain the same. And this your salary that remain the same. This your status that remain the same. From 2015 to date. What you are buying 2015 for 15 naira is now 250 naira. And you have to buy it. If not, you will go hunger. So the people doing you, the politicians, using money to buy the artisans and market men and women during election, these two people, the artisan and the market women, they are not losing anything. But you are the one losing because you don't want to take politics serious. And how long will you going to continue to work against yourself? So, see, the delegates, they are giving money to the delegates and they will collect it. I just read something on Sarah Reporter now that delegates in PDP, they are getting as much as $500, $500,000. Just being a delegate. See, don't let us deceive ourselves. Nobody where they go give money, we no go collect. Don't let us deceive ourselves. For me, I don't like to deceive myself.
Except me, oh.
Okay.
Me, I no go collect, oh.
If you are in Nigerian politics, and you become a delegate, or guy you go collect.
Sir, sorry, I'm not just sorry to interject. I think I want us to be very explicit about these. This is part of our definition, our footprint as individuals. Sorry, Mr. Tosin, to interject. I just want to make this comment for the sake of the public. I, as a person, and I'm speaking for myself, I have had encounter with money. If I'm to be a thief, I want to believe that I won't be at this level. And I'm very okay with my step by step progression. Because if we say that if we have access to money that we'll collect, I can tell you several instances that has happened, and I stood my ground. See, it is not about we now. It is about people that want to engage. And I'm trying to also assume that if you are a delegate, with the interaction we have been having over the years, except I may be wrong, that you won't also take that money, because the essence of this conversation will be in futility if we now say, okay, if we are in their shoe. Let me cite an example. In 2019, I was contacted. I'm not a member of PDP. I was called upon. A friend nominated me to Atiku Abubakar campaign organization, that I should come and lead the youth wing of Atiku Abubakar campaign organization in Ekiti. I told Mr. Paul, you see, it's not about the money now. The very first thing a normal human being that will ring in your head is money. Like, owe them a wambel. But I asked myself some critical questions. What about the pedigree that I'm building? Because it has taken me years to actually consistently build this. And somebody from nowhere will just rubbish me. Somebody who is already a pig doesn't mind bringing you into a muddy water and rubbish you. And I now nominated someone. The aftermath I didn't know because I didn't follow up, but it was a serious battle, a serious confrontation that actually ended the whole scenario. Another example, I was called upon to be a personal assistant to one senatorial candidate in Ekiti State. Then I was nominated by the daughter of one of the cabinet members of Buhari. But I asked myself some critical questions. I never declined immediately, but I said, okay, give me 1 week. I will think about it and give me some days. I will think about it and get back to you. I right from that particular moment that I was told, I met with the man and I said no. In my mind, I already knew what my answer would be, but it will not be wise to give immediate response, so that I will also know that this guy is thinking. And after some days, I told my friend, please, because of so and so reason, help me tell so and so man that I am not interested in taking up such role. And to that young lady, even if we don't have, if she never told me, I know quite all right that I have earned her respect from that day going forward. So I don't want us to make the public have this impression that when we are in that shoe that we are going to do same. I beg to differ. We will not be that type of human beings, because we are building history. It may appear that what we are saying here really it's just a 4, 5 man, 6 community member. History we bring, history we make reference to this conversation as time goes by. Another encounter I had, a money was mistakenly sent to my account, a UBA account, in hundreds of thousands. I had to go to the bank to say, okay, so and so money was sent into my account, and the money is not mine, because I don't know the type of miracle that would have happened. I was in the university that time, that my parents will be sending me hundreds of thousands of naira. It was a mistake. So we should be very consistent and careful when we are giving this public impression. We are not of them that will destroy this nation. And that is why we continue to remain subject of criticism when issue like this is happening. Thank you, Mr. Tony.
Okay,
I'm sorry for the
okay,
interjection.
a minute, please. Okay. What I said is, uh, maybe your guy will pause this. I'm hearing myself again. Sorry. What I said is, nobody they will give money, I will not take. Okay. Now, I'm not saying everybody. I'm talking about the delegates, because the question that was asked was the delegates. I'm not talking about everybody or we on this platform. I'm saying the question I was asked is the delegates that will be given money to vote for a candidate. So I'm talking about the delegates, not we. I've had encountered also, in fact, some 2 years ago, I still have a chat
Now
of
let's not
people
turn it to that
from.
one. Wait, Tosin.
So I'm talking
Wait.
about the delegates that they will,
Yes.
if they give them money, they will sure take, not we,
Wait.
the general
Wait.
public, or those
Wait,
on this
Tosin.
platform.
Before we
I
make
just
this,
need to make this straight now.
wait, just give me 1 second.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right. So, I believe that the thing is, we believe that at least many of us believe that the Nigerian politics is, all about money. All right. Now we have seen Uncle Peter stepped aside. He didn't say that was the reason he stepped out. We are the people who are just guessing, or we are speaking for him that, oh, our own Uncle Sentobi does not want to share money, or maybe it is Akagom. We didn't know. And some people might say, oh, it is Akagom. Some people might say it is because he is prudent with money. You understand? All of these are our own assumptions. All right. Now, but our job here is to look at, and it's also possible for us to assume that, oh, all politicians are corrupt. Okay. In fact, I've seen that people say that about whether Peter Obi or even Showore, and say, oh, people even try. There was a time people went and bring about a story about Showore just to show that Showore self is not different from the Atiku and the Bodilon of this world. You understand? So, but the truth that we need to also confront ourselves with is that, is it right for us to assume that everybody in politics is a thief? Or to assume that everybody who is a card-carrying member would also steal, even in PDP or in APC, or even as delegates. Meanwhile, we can also not discard all this, I even say I saw on Tara Reporter that the delegates were given $50,000. You understand? And I saw
Do
a
you know
video.
that to be a delegate also you have to pay? To be a delegate. You are not just a delegate. To be a delegate, you have to pay to be a delegate.
Really?
So what are they going
You
there
have
to
to
do?
settle people to vote for you, so that they
To
can
be a
send you out
delegate.
as a delegate. Some people spend
Oh,
as much as 5-10 million naira to become a delegate in this primary election.
really?
Yes.
So this is
Okay.
is more like a return on investment.
That means Tosin is correct then.
I see, Oga, I followed politics a lot. I have enough time. See, the country I stay, you cannot go for part-time job in your free time. So your free time is just your free time. You cannot go for part-time job. You can do maybe online course or something. And now I'm learning to do remote work. So I have time. I watch political shows. Top political shows in Nigeria, I know the time. I'm getting the alert. I'm watching. If I don't watch, if I'm busy that time, I watch the playback. People pay their way to become delegates, not thousands. They pay in millions to become delegates. So they are not going there to play. They are going there to what do you have for us? I posted something on my page of money that they were giving delegates. Money. And even the news now is that dollar is scarce in Nigeria. Money rates, I'm outside the country now. So money rates started going up now for some 3 days ago now. The rate money is going up every day.
You mean in Nigeria?
Dollar, yeah, dollar, the way dollar
No,
is going up.
it has been so for almost 3 weeks to 1 month now, because they are clearing the parallel market. So dollars at today is about 600, and if I'm very correct, is above 610 naira. As at yesterday, it was around 613, 614 thereabout. So by today now, because now that APC already postponed their own primary election, so it means that there will be consistent rise of dollar in the parallel market.
Okay, so Tosin, are you done? Let me ask another. Let me ask Timileyin this question. We
Please,
will
before
still
you
go
ask
back to
her,
that.
please, can I make a
Okay,
comment?
all right.
Yeah, so I really appreciate the fact that both Mr. Michael and Citizen Luatosin actually put that comment straight, because many people, it could even be many years after we are gone that people will still have to see this video and then have a perception of who we are. So it is important that we straighten things up in that way. That's very commendable. Thank you both. Thank you both for making it clear. And secondly, Citizen Oluwatosin made comment about politicians buying people out, telling them to vote for them. The problem we have about such people is that the problem is not only about them not knowing the implication of what they are doing on other citizens, but even on themselves. Because in your analogy, you said like they are not losing out because they are cashing out. They are really losing because an orange seller will not feed on orange all the time. There are other commodities they have to purchase. They have to subscribe to the service of bricklayers. They have to subscribe to the service of drivers. They will buy gas if they have vehicles. They will also they will feel the economic impact of their decisions, of their political decisions. So it is important for them to also understand that like whatever you do in terms of politics, every action you take would always have a result, and it will not be palatable if you made a wrong decision when it comes to voting people. So we should all try endeavor to vote in the right people, irrespective. And one thing that is really disgusting these days that I've noticed on Twitter now is actually the new development whereby people get, because someone made the comment, I think it was Edison Benson Cruz, he made that comment that politicians will give money to delegates that vote me in, and the delegates will decide not to vote them in and vote another person. So the politician will go back to the delegate and say, give me back the car I gave to you or the money I gave to you. And Nigerians are actually celebrating this. We should not be celebrating it. Why? Because what happens to not collecting the money at all? What happens to not even collecting it at all as a delegate? But that is why we have to talk about the system itself. If a delegate needs to pay money to be delegate, so what is what is the delegation about? It's just like Sizolu Atosi will say, monkey see, monkey chop. How will they talk am? It's just a piece of garbage. If you have to pay to become someone that will decide the fate of 200 million people, then it is wrong. It is a faulty system. It's a faulty process. It has to be reviewed entirely. And it is, in fact, disgusting. I yield the mic.
Okay, it is disgusting. I wanted to share that video where we saw some malam that are sharing money. I think they said they after they collected money, they didn't vote for the candidate. So the candidate came back and said, Alele, bring back my money. So they were collecting that back the money who had collected from that particular candidate. It's an embarrassment to all of us, really. It is an embarrassment to all of us. And I guess maybe it's because of social media that has make it more vivid or more obvious to us. Ordinarily, NTA will not come and show this kind of a thing.
The example you are citing is the son of the former vice president, Nnamdi Sambo, contesting for House of Reps in Kaduna.
Yeah.
So he used vigilante and local hunters to pursue the delegates, and in less than 24 hours, a report has it that he recovered 100 million.
Really, we are in trouble, eh? I wanted to share the video just in case some of our people may not have seen it. Let me see if I can get a small part of the video.
Ana maida mashi kudin shi na takara da yayi wanda ya ba mu delegate wanda muka yi on Monday ya ce a dawo mashi da kudin shi, so ga DG nashi nan muna maida mashi da kudin shi word by word yana ansa. To da haka nan mutanen Boso local government DG nashi na dan takara
Anyway, is it what is obvious from this video is that this process is going on where people are sharing money. Okay, that was clearly money, and it was because I gave it to we had somebody who understand Hausa to interpret what they were saying. He was saying that they collected money and didn't vote for that person, so the person wants his money back. So they were collecting the money back from those who are taking the money. So, like Timley said, what happens to not collecting the money in the first place? You know, what happens to being an honest citizen? What happens to saying, you are choosing on behalf of millions of people? You are going there to vote on behalf of millions of people, and this will affect your life. It will affect not just you, it will affect your generations to come, But unfortunately, this is what it is. It's our reality now, and that's why I think we are gathering here every Saturday, to talk about these things, and we are hoping that the message is getting to somebody or somewhere, So my next question is this: now that Uncle Peter Obi has stepped out of PDP, all right, uh, in my own language, I would say maybe he's trying to set precedence. Before, we have seen people saying, people like Showore, people like Mogalu, they should go and queue under PDP or under APC and begin to build small, maybe to start from local government, or maybe to start from governor, or to start from the House of Assembly, rather than going to start from a own small party, which they believe cannot win election in Nigeria as it is now. But now somebody has stepped out from a major party to a, I saw a tweet, somebody was asking, what is the handle of a Labour Party self? So which means the handle is not really well known. But I saw him also on Arise TV saying that he stepped out from the palace, but he wants to go and build that small kitchen or hamlet. Do you consider this as setting a precedence? And what do you think this could mean for APC or PDP? Let's start with Michael, and then if any other person wants to make a comment, you can. I think it was
Okay.
supposed to be Timileyin. Wait, let Timileyin go. Sorry, Michael.
Okay, thank you, sir. So I wouldn't call it a precedence for a reason. And the reason is because in 2019, this same Obi contested alongside Atiku to be his vice president. So I wouldn't call it a precedence, because that 2019 election has actually defaulted whatever precedents we want to establish with these current activities in 2020 for 2023. So I would say it is Obi trying to taking a calculated risk. It is Obi saying, well, this political ambition for 2023 is not a do or die affair. It is about testing its popularity. It is about establishing and forming a structure. And I still believe it is about building. I believe Obi probably has a long-term ambition of becoming the president of Nigeria, which must not, mandatorily happen now. So I see Obi trying to build a structure, because that is what anybody will counter him against. Like, we counter him with, right? Because they will say you are contesting against PDP that has, a well-established structure, or APC that has a well-established structure. And what he's trying to do, because now he has gained the popularity, now he's trying to get into the heart and mind of Nigerians. But now he knows himself, he's a politician. It was because of this political calculation that made him leave the PDP. He knew that he was nowhere near clinching that party support for presidential election. He knew he was not going to get the candidacy. That was why he went to the Labour Party. And he knew for sure that this race in 2023 is between APC and PDP, except some mega merging or collaboration happens before the presidential elections. So I believe that Obi it probably has something in plan. yes, he's going into the presidential race, but not necessarily to win it this time. I am certain about that. That's why you will see people who are like Citizen Oluwatosin will call them errats, political errats of the APC and PDP, trying to remind Peter Obi of previous numbers of the Labour Party in previous elections. So definitely Obi knows this thing. He has the record, he has the data, he knows, he anticipates defeat, but he just wants to pull and see what can be achieved with a seemingly new and regional party like Labour Party. So I feel like it is not a precedence. It is just him trying to, I think it's just him trying to, trying to surpass his own previous political limits. He's just trying to set a precedence for himself, but not in the Nigerian political space, for the fact that he has contested. In fact, if he was not seeing the handwriting on the wall, he would probably go into the primaries of the PDP. But he has seen that this thing would probably not be in his favor. So why would he consider such a corrupt party, to say quote and unquote, in the first instance? Why would he run with Atiku in 2019? I mean, Atiku has been in this race since 1990, so everybody knows that Atiku has been in business, in political business, for a long time. So for him to have accepted to run as his running mate in 2019 shows that this is not really a precedence for the people, but for himself.
Okay, thank you. Now, Timothy, I mean, Michael.
Okay, thank you. I mistakenly paused my camera. Yeah, yes, I agree totally with Mr. Timmy's position, and let me also maybe differ a little. It was the 2019 election that brought Peter Obi to limelight. His public engagements, his social media footprint, because when he was actually providing all those data about the national economy, the global economy, and how to tackle some national issues, we discovered that Nigerians actually fell in love with him. And we cannot totally remove the person of Peter Obi from the total number of votes that Atiku Abubakar got. That was around about between over 11 million votes in 2019 general elections, as compared to what Muhammadu Buhari got. So when we put all of these factors together, I think Peter Obi has a record. I know you are being careful not to use the word precedence, if I get your position very correctly. He has this record, and he's trying to actually consolidate the record. Perhaps maybe we can now give him the opportunity to say in the next couple of months or years, he will turn it to a precedence. I mean, trying to study your mind now. Having said that, a lot of things can still happen between now and the 2023 general elections. The new electoral law, after the primary elections, the campaign begins. And this will be the first time in the history of Nigeria that campaign will go for a period of 7 to 8 months. Before, it used to be 3 months. Meaning, there are many factors that we need to consider now. You see, all the money that these guys, they have stolen, they will bring it out. Because it will be a time to spend. They will do everything possible. Just like we have allegation now that they are buying the candidates, the delegates all over. So they will try to do everything possible to make sure they retain the power. However, we know the merger of CPC, the merger of ABGA, the merger of ACN led to the formation of APC. So I am also thinking in my head, and that happened prior to the 2015 general elections. So which therefore means the next 8 to 9 months, 7 to 8 months, that we still have to campaign. A lot of things can still happen. A lot of cross-carpeting is going on now. And we know that some political bigwigs that already lost out, that has structure but already lost out in either APC or PDP, will look for the next available or better available option to pitch their tent. Now, as at yesterday, we learned that in Einaya Baribe already pulled out of APC, I mean PDP rather, to ABGA. And this is the man that has been in the National Assembly for almost 16 years, if I'm correct. Yes, we have several of them that they are really losing out big time now. So something may happen. So I don't want to believe totally that Peter Obi, I mean, or other political formations may not have the space. I'm not disputing your position on that. It may be hard for them to actually take possession of power. However, the structure will be established against the next election, and I believe by then Nigerians will be better informed. However, the political atmosphere may have changed, but something I need to I want us to put our mind on is the fact that if Peter Obi can get a very strong alliance from the north, one. Number two, can get other political formations to align with him, because Peter Obi is like a bride in the heart of many Nigerians now, particularly the youth demography. So, and if you go to the Twitter space, even around the streets, when you move around in public transport, you will hear people talk about this Peter Obi, Peter Obi, Peter Obi. We just like the way we saw Buhari in 2015. I think Peter Obi is also trying to be that new bride that Nigerians are trying to romance into power. And we hope that this can still happen. Maybe we can only hope, let me use that word, hope, that this can happen in 2023 as we approach the general elections. So let us continue to see the alignment, realignment, disalignment, and other things that may happen in the next couple of months. I know some people that really don't have the structure. For example, before I round off my comment, if Kwakwaso in Kano can be politically humble enough, permit my language, to carve his niche with Peter Obi, Kwakwaso is an enigma as far as northern politics is concerned. And if a Kwakwaso and a Peter Obi should merge alliance, just like it was rumored before Peter Obi disclosed yesterday, I think something like that can really actually shake both APC and PDP. But just like I have said, this is something we cannot predict because a lot of things will still happen in the next couple of months. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Michael. Tosin, if you want to take the same question, but I would have probably preferred to twist it a little bit. And that is, I would want you to look at, do you foresee that many other people, especially the younger generation, will be pulling out from PDP and APC because of what we have seen Obi done?
What Obi did is what he did is right. He set a kind of precedent for people to follow. We might see him as he has dined with the corrupt guys also, that is a typical one also. But we must also uh, appreciate his confidence, his confidence, his boldness to forsake the big platform, as we might say it, and to go all the way for a lesser one. In politics, just like in the kingdom of God, the Bible says in the kingdom of God, a day is like a 10,000 years, and a 10,000 years is like a day. So it is in politics also. A day is like 100 days, and 100 days is like a day. Just sleep and wake up, things can change, and change for the best, for the better, or for the worst. In 2014, the beginning of 2014, nobody knows of APC and all. Is it 2014 or 2013? Then they merge and things work out for them, and everybody's singing APC, everybody's singing Buhari, everybody's singing this, and it works for them. So it might work for Peter Obi also. What Peter Obi did, we set precedent even for somebody like Banky W, who is in PDP, seems to have won the election. And another twist, they said he's not getting the party's ticket. So what it did, we encourage a lot of young people to take the bull by the horn, to have confidence in themselves, that irrespective of the party they belong to, they can make something happen. And I want to put it out to our friends out there watching, or will be watching later, that see, whichever party anybody belongs to, we the people, they are talking about structures. This APC have structure, PDP have structure. The only structure they are talking about is the people. APC and PDP, their national secretariat is not even finished. It's still an uncompleted building. So which secretariat, which structure? They don't have structure. They don't have any structure. They don't even have a national, they don't even have headquarters. Some of these new parties, they have headquarters, even if it is rented one. PDP have been building for how many years? They don't have a headquarters. So which structure did we say they have? They don't have structure. The thing they have is people. And we, the people, me that I'm partyless, you that you are partyless, you that since you become 18 years of age, you have never voted for any you have never voted in any election. You have never belonged to any political party. It is time for you to start pinching your tent with these young guys that can move the country forward, and not with APC and PDP because you think they have structure. They don't have structure. And the meaning of structure is the people, the number. And if we, the people, if we, the youth, that we are frustrated, I don't know about another person, but me, regarding Nigerian issue, I am a frustrated human being. I'm frustrated daily, even at night, I'm frustrated. So if every frustrated Nigerians will choose to follow Peter Obi and some other new guys that seems not to have structure, they also will have structure. Before Buhari came to APC and all, we are singing that Buhari always get a 12 million, 20 million vote. That is number, that is people. We also can do that for these new guys that seems to have stand out. These new guys that don't want to dent their hands with APC and PDP, and they have stood out. We can create this support for them. Let us rally around them. Let us give them the support they need to create a new Nigerian that we desire.
Thank you, Tosin. Now, this question that I want us to quickly discuss before whether we continue to round up. And the question is, I think somebody in the comment section raised it earlier. I can't really remember who exactly. Somebody was talking about whether we can get rid of this vote buying, by maybe a legislation in the National Assembly. And if you see that video where, Ebele Jonathan was actually ranting about, about these delegates and all of those things, Timilani, I think you should check it out after this broadcast if you have not. I posted it on.
I saw the video.
Okay. So
can I say something about that?
Wait, you will.
Okay.
You will. I mean, both of you. I'm expecting that both of you would respond to the question. So the question is: do you see this National Assembly taking any bold step that would punish or criminalize any kind of attempt to buy votes, like all this so Ankara for our grandmas and our women, poor women, and put their picture on it, and all those nonsense that they are doing. I remember in those in the village, it is salt they will be sharing. Imagine salt. It is an insult. The smallest, the cheapest commodity. That's what they are sharing in my village. And yet people are collecting the people say, I'm your barn. That kind of nonsense.
Faduma 2019. Salt is an insult. Faduma 2022. Salt is an insult. Pun intended.
Yeah, I'm sure some of the young generation people now, they may not know that, because people are now sharing 5,000, they are sharing 4,000. But when I was a young boy in the village, it is 4,000. In the when they newly started this democracy in 1999, it is salt they are sharing in my village. They will tie it in some nylon. Salt at that time, the salt is not even more than maybe 5 naira or 10 naira, but that's what they were sharing. It is that ridiculous. Now we have graduated to, sharing 4,000, 5,000, but now the delegates are now, it is dollar. Anyway, so the question is, do you think we will graduate to the level where this kind of act will be criminalized? All this, like Tinubu was asked if it was right for him to have a bullion bar in his home during election, and he was saying, whose money? Is it your money? Can you imagine that kind of nonsense? That shouldn't even happen, because it means that some individuals have become so big that they can, personally erode the system. Let's have you first, and then Tosin.
Well, maybe one day we will get there, but with the current political system, structure, and atmosphere in Nigeria today, no, it's a capital no. So I'm not a pessimist. One day we might get there if we get things right. But with the current situation, with the current political situation in Nigeria today, we cannot be there. Why? Because we have a National Assembly that consists of people of the same mindset with the executive. What's the purpose of the legislature in the first instance? Let us begin with that. These people are supposed to create the laws that with which the citizens will work, right? That's number one. Number two, they are supposed to be like a checkmate. They are supposed to be checking everything the executives are doing. So in a situation where you have the leader of the Senate and the leader of the House of Assembly, the Speaker of the House of Assembly, and then the Senate president being errand boys, or boys of the president, and allies of the people in the executive, and very many corrupt individuals in the party, in the same party, then what do you expect? They will not do anything that goes against their friends in politics. So that is to tell you that whatever the executive does today, the executive arm of the government, whatever they do today, so far it aligns with the ideology of their party and not necessarily what Nigerians want, they will stamp it. And that's why they have nicknamed them the rubber stamp, rubber stamp legislation these days. So that's the situation we have found ourselves. We really need a kind of, I am not a fan of Saraki, but I love the tension between the executive and the legislation in 2015 to 2019. I loved it. That is what politics is supposed to look like. The drama, the game, everything is supposed to be there. Now, for you to be an effective legislator, Speaker of House of Assembly, or Senate President, you have to be clean. So that was why they actually victimized Saraki in those days, because he also had issues. He had questions to answer. Imagine we had a Peter Obi as the Senate president in those days, and has the same kind of vibrancy, talking to the president and challenging them about the issues in the country, and they will have nothing to pin down on him. Imagine how effective the executive would be. Every garbage, the useless documents the president will bring down to, what's the name of this Senate president? I don't even know him again. You understand? You will just stamp it, and without everybody will just say hi, and that's all. The very stupid way of running government. So maybe one day, if we have people who do not have stains on their clothes, who have not gotten their hands soiled at the helm of affairs in the legislative arm of the government, tackling whatever the executives are doing, fine, we will get there. But with this level that a particular party is trying to rake all positions and get into the House of Assembly, have the majority in the House of Assembly, and have the majority in the Senate, in the red chamber, you don't expect anything to happen. No change is going to happen. No change. no change is going to happen. So that is why some of these things actually nauseate me personally. You know, you have somebody that is a friend of the president and is the Senate president. So what do you expect? So no, capital no.
Okay, Tosin.
The question again, please.
I said, do you think we are going to overcome this
Okay.
vote buying?
Okay. If we are going to overcome vote buying, friends, please. The link in the comment section is the link for those that want to register for PVC. If you want to register for PVC, please check the link in the comment section. That's the link to register for PVC. If we are going to overcome vote buying, some friends are talking about restructuring Nigeria, and they said that our constitution is bad, our constitution is this, and I've told them that the constitution is not totally bad, though I think we should have a new one. But the one we even have is not totally bad. If we have a president that is ready to work and we implement the constitution to the letter, do you know that in the constitution, vote buying is a crime? Punishable under the law. But we have set of politicians that do not have the willpower to do what is right in Nigeria. Vote buying in Nigeria is a crime. It's a crime already. We don't need to beg anybody to make it a crime. We don't need to beg anybody to make it a crime. It's already a crime. But we need the willpower of politicians to implement what is in the constitution already, to implement the law. We have enough law in Nigeria to make us a better nation. Though they are not perfect laws, but they are there already. But we have a set of irresponsible politicians, gullible ones, empty-headed, that they don't have the willpower. They only want, it's paying them. The vote buying, the corruption in politics, during electionary is paying them. So that is why they don't want to implement it. Vote buying is already a crime in Nigeria. But of course, we are looking forward to a day that we will have politicians that has the balls, the courage, the boldness, the will power to implement those laws, to criminalize buying vote. We, to an extent, we cannot, giving things out during the election, we cannot 100% criminalize it. During the last election in UK, we have seen videos and pictures of the Prime Minister, Boris, delivering milk to people on the election day, even in the morning of the election day. So this is also vote buying in disguise, presenting people that delivering people were milk to people at their home, though it is the people that bought this milk themselves, and the delivery guy should deliver it to them. But now he is submitting himself to be the delivery guy for that day. That's also vote buying. But these are done with decency, with decorum.
Yeah, but they have been doing that. I mean, it's possible for him to have done that before the election.
Before,
Because
yeah,
I've seen
but
him
doing it
riding
on
bicycle in the street.
riding bicycle, him doing that on election day is sending a message to the people, and it's synonyms to vote buying. But they are doing that with decorum, with decency, with humility, not with sending people money to buy your vote and sending talks to monitor if you truly vote for the money you have collected. And in some cases, some people that did not vote, that only collect money and did not vote, they went as much as attacking them after the election. So we have enough laws in Nigeria. We just need politicians that has balls to implement them. We will not continue like this. Whether it stays longer or no, we will not continue like this. A new Nigeria will be built. A new Nigeria is possible. It is visible. And in our own lifetime, it will happen.
Amio. Now, before we go, I want us to look. If you look at the quotation that is sliding on the screen, that's something that Uncle Obi said on the TV today. He said, "I'm not desperate to be president. I am desperate to see Nigeria work, especially for youths of this country." Now, people like us, we've said it over and over again on this platform that people like me, I don't really think I owe Nigeria. You know why? Because Nigeria has not really worked for me. I have not benefited. The only time that I think Nigeria would have said Nigeria did for me at some point was in I went and redid my receipt for WAEC in 2000, and then the then governor, announced that all the students that are paid for WAEC, is it WAEC or NECO, that they should refund the money. Yeah, it was NECO. That was, I think, maybe 1,500 or 1,200. I can't remember how much that year. That's the only thing that throughout my education. Okay? Maybe people, generations before us may have benefited. And maybe that's why it's also difficult for people of our generation to be patriotic. Or that's why we make guess about Nigeria. Nigeria is not working. Nigeria don't spoil. Nigeria don't cast. All these things. It's common with people of our generation and below. But do you think people like Uncle Peter Obi can actually deliver the Nigeria that work for us, for our generation? I'm 41 now, all right? And I'm saying I have not benefited from this country, and I know that majority of us, especially from the South, I've not lived in the North, and I know that a lot of I heard that a lot of the people in the North have benefited from government projects, government, education, stuff like that, packages. But a lot of us from the South, of my generation and below, have not really benefited. It is you that is hustling yourself, you're on your own. So, but can we have do you think people like Uncle B can deliver the Nigeria that we will all be proud of? Jimlani, let's start with you. This will be our final goal.
I honestly think Peter Obi can deliver. I honestly think so. If I were to be in Nigeria today, or let me say in 2023, and I have my PVC and I would vote, I'm going to cast my vote. Given the people that I've seen now, for APC now, it cannot be more than Jonathan, Tinubu or Osibajo that would be flying their flag, right? And then for PDP, I don't know whoever it will be, maybe Wike, Saraki or Atiku. And now Labour Party, we have Peter Obi. Of all of these candidates, sincerely, no one beats Peter Obi, if we are to be frank. In terms of...
Showarenko?
Okay, yeah, maybe those ones can compete. I mean, from now we are talking about structure. Someone was asking me a question about what the true meaning of structure is in the comment section. Yes, structure means numbers. If you look at the 2019 elections, APC had about 15 million votes, and PDP had about 12 million votes, and Labour Party had 5,000 votes. That's ridiculous. That means there is no structure. And see, the issue we have in this country is that we fail to tell the truth the way it is. The fact that they have structures or they have strong presence in the 774 local governments in Nigeria does not mean anything to me if there is no result. So what is the presence? What is the essence of their presence in the 774 local governments? What are they doing there? It equally means they are not doing anything there. They are just present, or it could even mean that they are. Yeah.
Do you think he can capitalize on the aggrieved Nigerian youth who does not give a,
Exactly.
about politics before now. Do you
There
think
is
so?
something.
Do you think he is able to appeal to them?
He is appealing to me. I would not vote for any of those people that are campaigning, right? But the fact that someone like Peter Obi, it's not easy to have a politician who has been in politics for over a decade, for EFCC not to have anything against him. It is not easy in a country like Nigeria. So let's give it to him. He is such a brilliant and relatively young politician. So he still has the time. He has the agility. He's vibrant, and of course, he's wise, he's intelligent. He has been, so you cannot stop. Whenever Showore is talking, people will tell him, go and try House of Rep, go and try governor. Now, what would they have to tell Peter Obi? Peter Obi has been governor for 2 times, and he has withstood problems and adversities in politics. He was thrown out of office like 2 times. He had to fight for over 3 years before he got back into office. So this man has the CV that we are all looking for. He has the personality that we might seemingly be looking for. Nobody is perfect, but he has what it takes to be a perfect Nigerian president. But this is the limitation. And the limitation is related to what I discussed the other time, that if we do not have a viable legislative system, there is going to be a problem. The president cannot do it alone. If Peter Obi becomes president today, there are some people that are princes of Persia in the red and green chambers that are ready to stand against him if he's not doing what they want, if he's not appeasing their gods. So this is what I'm talking about when I say people should not focus only on the presidential aspirants. They should think about who is representing them at the constituency level, at the senatorial district. They should think about that. So they feel like I'm doing a favor to this guy because he's from my local government. Let me just get him there. It might not be the right candidate, but because the other guy is not from my local government, most times senatorial districts and then the other one constituencies, they usually consist of more than one local government, and oftentimes you have people contesting from different local governments. So because I'm from Oriade local government, I think that someone from Ife Central should not get there. You know what I mean? So you feel like it should not get there. So because it's my own kinsman, I should get him there. So let us just not play politics of hate. Let us go and look for merit. So it now becomes a compound complex problem when delegates are presenting us, people that do not merit that position. Now, PDP, APC, ABGA, what's the party, SDP, all of them, Labour Party, and their delegates have been bought. And whoever they are bringing to the table now, they have actually severed good people. Let's assume Peter Obi is contesting under PDP now. They will have cut him off. By tomorrow, you will just hear one stupid name. You understand, as the flag bearer. And that is what we are talking about. When we have put our faith in the hands of delegates, they will just cut off the people that really can do it. And they leave us with people that are ready to spend, invest in politics, and go there and cash out again. So this will continually become a problem. Even if Peter Obi clinches that position, if he gets to the presidential seat, he will still have people to battle with. The very corrupt lawmakers, the very inconsistent and selfish lawmakers, he will still have to battle with them. That's why we all have to be mindful.
We will take Aluta to the red chamber if that happens.
Hopefully, but who won't die for Nigeria? You know how they go.
All right, Tosin.
Yeah, I usually love you ask the question again to rejuggle my.
I don't know where you put your mind though. Anyway,
I'm
so
enjoying
the
Mr.
question
Timmy's
is
comment. You see, my head is going like a
okay.
gamma lizard.
So I was saying that. Let me put the question in another form. Like
Okay.
the NSAS protest. Those what there was a term that was used to describe the people of our generation, the coconut head.
Sorosuke.
The Sorosoke generation.
Well, it's
Do
okay.
you think people like Uncle Peter Obi can capitalize on the Sorosoke generation and the coconut head generation? who don't care about politics. Some of them have never even voted. They are 30, 40 years old. They are 25, 18, 19 years old, but they don't care about what's happening. Do you think he can reach out to those people across Nigeria on this is newfound, party? Is it possible?
Yes, he can do that, and he's doing that already. Even haven't spoken a word about that. He's doing that already, and as an individual, that is my beef with some of these newcomers politicians. That is my beef with them because they were around in the last 3 to 4 years, but they have not done enough in engaging youth participation. They have not done enough in bringing awareness of the youth participation in election. Instead, they have done enough in calling for protests. And as we all understand, or if we don't understand, as we should know that the only legitimate way of replacing leaders in the world is election, not protest. No, not protest. Protest have since removed some leaders, some presidents around the world. Protest has removed them and replaced them with some other new guys. But in our society, what is peculiar to us as a people, Nigerian, protest will not remove any of these guys. They are thick skin guys and blockheads. So no matter the number of protests or anybody that dies in the protest, they will not leave. In fact, they will not leave the power for them. What happened in Lekki? How many people died? They are even denying it. So protest is not the way, and that is my beef with all these newcomers politicians. If Peter Obi will bank on this Sorosoki generation, continually calling for them to go pick their PVC, there is a need for politicians to be calling for new voters to go get their PVC. There is a need for that. A lot of people are becoming of voting age and they totally neglect the issue of going to collect their PVC and performing their civic responsibility as a citizen, because they have been filled with the assumption that their vote don't count, or that politics is dirty, and that when they go out to vote, their vote doesn't count. It's just a wasted effort. So politicians that needed those votes should know how to go get them. But I expect all these newcomers politicians to have a continual update and video pleading for people to go get their PVC. One thing we should do first is to get our PVC, even if they are not going to vote for you. One thing I have noticed in the last few hours or last few days also is this: some people, they say they are new politicians and though they want a change, they don't really want a change in Nigeria. They just want a change for themselves. And until we put the Nigerian project first, we will not get a good nation for ourselves. We should put the Nigerian project first. Even if they are not going to vote for you, campaign and people should go get their PVC. They should go get that first. It is their right as citizens of Nigeria and of voting age to go get. So Peter Obi, if he wants to bank on the Sorosoki generation, he need to tell people, or his people need to start telling everybody of the voting age to go get their PVC. The noise on Twitter, forget it's trending on Twitter. Vote doesn't happen on Twitter. Forget it's trending on Facebook. Vote doesn't happen on social media. Vote happen at the polling unit. And no matter the noise we are creating on social media, if your followers don't have their PVC, it is effort in futility. If you like, you are the one trending on global Twitter for the whole 12 months in a year, if your supporters, they don't have PVC to vote on election day, then you are not going to win that election. So let them continually telling people now, especially when we have few days to end of registration of PVC. Hopefully it will be extended. Then we have days of grace. But as we have it now, tomorrow Sunday and on Monday is the last day. Let everybody go register for their PVC to collect it. Don't ask for who you are going to vote for. You say this is our last word, so I'm saying my last word on the show today. I will come back next week. So don't ask for who you are going to vote for. Some people, when you tell them go and get their PVC, they will say, who are we going to vote for? No, that is not the question. Not who you are going to vote for now. They are all aspirant, no candidate yet. So no need to ask for who are you are going to vote for. Get your PVC first, put in your pocket. As a matter of fact, because you are a citizen of Nigeria, so you should get it. Whether you are going to vote or you are not going to vote, or it is useful, it's not, get it, put it in your pocket. Then when that day is approaching, or that day comes, you now see the light of this is the person I want to vote for. That day you now bring out your PVC, which is already in your pocket, to go and vote the person. But imagine if you're asking who you are going to vote for now and you didn't get your PVC. When that day comes and there's a sure candidate you love so much and you want to vote for, and you don't have your PVC, then you have deprived of yourself of voting in a good candidate. So Peter Obi, he can bank on this Sorosoki generation. Even from INEC, their statistics we have shows that a large number of Nigerians don't participate in election, and over the years the number keep dropping. There's what they call a voter apartheid.
Voters apathy.
Apathy in Nigeria, those that are scared to go vote. So he can bank on this. He should.
They are not scared. They don't just see reason. Is it not PDP, APC? But now
they are
there is
scared.
at least
They are
there is
scared
a
who
Peter
to
Obi
vote
that we
for.
know, and he's going to he's already on a brand new platform. So let's hope, fingers crossed. We're going to be here again next week. So thank you very much, viewers. Thank you for joining us. We want to appreciate all those who have dropped comments, who have joined us in this conversation. We appreciate you, and it means a lot to us. Nigeria it belongs to us, whether it has served us or not. It's our country. We don't have a better place than Nigeria. And there's no place I can go in the world whereby Nigeria still remains Nigeria. In Nigeria, you can flex. You understand? You can, if you travel and come back to Nigeria, Nigeria is the best place for holiday for people like us who are Nigerians. So, and we are passionate about Nigeria. Sincerely, we need people who can rescue that country. And we are, kind of believing in people like Uncle Obi. I love to call him Uncle Obi. All right. So, and Professor Mogalu is there. Shore is also there. Okay. So I see that Tosin was shooting some shoot the other time, but I'm not going to mind him. Anyway, so we will be back next weekend. Thank you very much, everyone. We appreciate you. Please, let's continue to support Nigeria. Let's continue to canvass. Like Tosin said earlier, that the voters registration will soon close. So if you have not registered, please go and do it before it is too late. And if you have registered, you have not collected your voter's card, go and get it. Even if it means taking a break from your work or school, one day go and sit down there, take your bed with you, go the very early moment, because our life is dependent on it. Now, not just our life now, even our generation to come, our children. Don't it is enough of having vagabonds go and decide what happens to us. Anyway, thank you very much. Bye, and good night.